One win in 10 Premier League games for Spurs now. They've not won at home in the league since December the 6th. Thomas Frank has recorded the lowest win percentage of any Big Six manager. Spurs Big Six. Finished in the top six twice in the last 6 seasons.
I know.
In terms of crowds, they certainly are. I think third best attended side in the Premier League. But I don't like the term Big Six. I'm not having a go at Spurs because I'm not sure what it means anymore. You know, Newcastle Big Six now. And who knows?
I know.
Yeah, who knows? Look, their next 5 league games are obviously Newcastle at home. Then they've got Arsenal. Then Fulham away. Palace at home, we've seen how resilient Palace are, and Liverpool away. So I look at tonight's game, McCoist, and wonder, Spurs against Newcastle, who needs the win the most?
Oh, Tottenham, just, in my opinion. It's getting to the stage. They better believe they're in a relegation fight. You know, they don't win tonight. You're looking at the bottom of that league, right? We said yesterday we've accepted that Wolves and Burnley are away. West Ham have got a little bit of for them. That's a massive game. It's getting to the stage, all the games are massive. But that game against Manchester United is clearly, oh dear me, from West Ham's point of view. West Ham are at the point, just about the point now, Jeff, they can't make any mistakes at all. Tottenham don't win tonight, you know, and Forest and West Ham get something, you had better believe that they are in a relegation fight. I don't think they'll go down for a minute, right? I don't, because I look at the squad, I look at the underachieving squad, and I think they've got players that are good enough to keep them in a division. Spine of the team, when the spine of the team plays, I think it's good. You know, when it's Van de Ven, they're going to miss Romero. We've discussed Romero. Middle of the park, I think Gallagher's energy in there with Polina, who kept going at the weekend, and I just detect that it wasn't brilliant at the weekend, but I detect an improvement in the form of Xavi Simons, and I think Solanke will score goals that will keep them in the division. Eddie Howe's Newcastle, of course Eddie Howe needs a victory, but all the managers are under pressure, Jeff, but
yeah.
I just think Eddie Howe's got enough in the bank. I really do.
Yeah. I completely agree. Their fixtures are horrific.
Oh, unbelievable.
Absolutely horrific. Look, let's focus on Spurs now. Let's get the views of a Spurs fan in all of this. Here's the host of the Last Word on Spurs podcast, Ricky Sachs. Morning, Ricky.
Good morning, Ricky.
Good morning, legends. How are you both?
Very good.
Mate. How are you?
Look, I'm not sure which camp you're in regarding Thomas Frank, but could he survive a defeat tonight?
Oh, it's been a crazy season, guys. Crazy season. Look, I think not all of what we've seen this season is Thomas Frank's fault. There's been a lot of moving parts above him. Of course, Daniel Levy moving on, a lot of changes internally. But if we're going to be honest about this, he's just very much struggled to scale up to understanding what it is to be the Tottenham Hotspur head coach. And the results, as you wrote out there before we started, Jeff, they're simply not good enough. And you know what? By the token fact we're even mentioning Tottenham and the word relegation for a second season, that's terrible. That's scary. And I think the standards around Tottenham as a football club seem to have dropped so much. But to answer your question, look, Thomas Frank, you could have sacked him on so many occasions this season. You could have sacked him away at Nottingham Forest. You could have sacked him even after the Arsenal game, if we're being real, after West Ham. Thomas Frank should have been sacked, but it just feels through the course of the season, there's been a lack of planning. There's been a lack of any kind of footballing knowledge on that board to understand the real depths of despair Spurs fans find themselves in. And I mean this with all due respect, I think Thomas Frank's a lovely human being. I think he's a great guy, but I think he's massively out of his depth at a club like Tottenham. And I just think he doesn't understand the fans' language. He doesn't understand what Tottenham are as a football club. And I think, you know, when you come into the job and your first words are, we will lose football matches. Unfortunately, Thomas, I just don't think has understood or recognised the club's DNA. And no one is sitting expecting Tottenham should be winning titles, winning the Champions League, getting into the top four. But at the same time, to keep using phrases like a transitional season, this club finished 17th, unfortunately, Thomas doesn't seem to have understood the Tottenham playbook, and I totally understand there's been a lot of moving parts around this season, but the league form, as you read out on air only a few seconds ago, is just simply not good enough for a club of Tottenham standards. And yes, we do have a young squad. Yes, there's inexperience in there, but at the same time, this club, this team, this squad should not be 15th in the Premier League.
It's strange looking at Ricky. I mean, the similarities to last season are alarming, because I think some of the better performances, I don't know whether you agree or not, I think some of the better performances from Tottenham this year have definitely been in Europe, but the league form is absolutely unacceptable. Ricky, at what point do the Spurs fans say, look, we just can't keep replacing managers? You know, it's been well documented, whether it's Conte, Mourinho, Nuno, Poch, all of them. Poch probably the greatest degree of success. But at what point do the Spurs fans say, you know, we just can't keep changing managers?
We wanted to stick with the manager. We'd love to stick with the manager. I think there's this common perception outside of Tottenham fans that some seem to think that Tottenham fans are entitled. They just want to keep changing the manager every 12, 18 months. Believe me, Tottenham fans want nothing more to get behind a manager, see a vision, see a philosophy, see a structure, see a plan. But unfortunately, despite Ange Postecoglou delivering that trophy and giving us one of the most memorable moments in our recent history, as you are well aware, the league form over Ange's tenure has not been good enough. The league form over, unfortunately, Thomas Frank's tenure has not been good enough. I mean, Tottenham's last 50 league matches, they've produced the club's lowest 50-game points haul since 1913 to 15. That's how far you have to go back to recognise how poor, how terrible Tottenham's league form has been over this last 18, 24 months. And I will repeat this. This is not just all on the managers. There is the hierarchy for me that have failed these managers on numerous occasions in transfer windows. But you mentioned Pochettino there, and I'm sure you're going to ask me about it. You know, the drum is going to be getting louder and louder for him, because the reality is he gets the club, loves the club, believes the club should be aiming for relatively near the top of the league in terms of Premier League and Champions League. And I will make this point. Nobody is saying Tottenham should win the Premier League, win the Champions League, but the standards of this football club are quite simply on the floor. They are on the floor.
Got to stop you there. For what it's worth, I think the finger's being pointed at the wrong man. On the bench at Old Trafford for Spurs at the weekend, a goalkeeper, two 17-year-olds, an 18-year-old, a 19-year-old, a 20-year-old. Kolo Muani, who's not scored a league goal, was on that bench as well. That was the squad. And the sort of people on the board and the directors of football who say we need to spend in the summer, you're wrong. You need to spend in January and not just on Conor Gallagher. That's my sixpence worth for what it is worth. Ricky, thanks very much indeed.
Thanks for your time, Ricky.
Pleasure, legends. Thank you so much for your time, as always.
Cheers, Ricky. Don't forget, we're the only place on the radio to hear live commentary of that big game in North London tonight. Tune in to talkSPORT 2 for that.